production.
Yo, what's going on? So it is November 6th, 2022, and today we're breaking down Wonderfi technologies. I'm excited. I feel like this is a really great opportunity, and I'm gonna break down a bunch of details that I've researched on, and we're gonna get into it. I'm excited. So let's see what's under the hood of this bad boy. All right, let's get into it. Alrighty, let's get into this. Welcome to the Wonderfi Technologies Thesis. Alright, so this should be interesting because I think I have a bunch of notes here, right? So I basically broke down this company, and I'm going to break down why I'm bullish on it. I'm going to start off with kind of like the fundamentals of the company, why I think they're pretty undervalued right now, especially for what they're worth. And then we're going to get into, like, of course, the technical details of the chart and stuff, because I love geeking out on that shit too. But let's get into it. So what is Wonderfi Technologies? All right, so the Cole's notes, right? Basics, too long, don't read, is they're a company that is trying to make the transition of digital assets, and more so like the blend of digital assets and like modern day finance and like the old finance, and combining it all, so it's kind of easy and smooth for past generations and newer generations and companies to get into crypto, through like a regulated kind of process that's really all locked in. You're going to be able to mark your taxes, everything's legal, and that's great, especially for crypto, especially because, you know, a lot of the big fad behind crypto is the legality of it and like keeping track of it, and like, oh, is the government going to be able to get their piece of it? Are they going to be able to tax it? And this company is what's making all this stuff accessible for the banks. So it is, part of it is a centralized company, which is probably the only flaw, is that a lot of their stuff is centralized, but because of that, it's going to make it a lot more smooth, reliable, trustworthy, and easy to use for investors, right? So, which is huge. So let's get into it, right? That is the Cole's notes, right? Wonderfi is making it easier for investors to get into crypto and have their assets tracked and everything like that, which is amazing. So as you know, right? Whoopsie. We know crypto is is a sector that is growing at an exponential rate, right? So always keep that in the back of your mind when I'm going through this stuff in this video. So Wonderfi is split into like 3 different sectors, right? They've made a bunch of acquisitions over the years, and essentially one of their brands or their products, their lines of business, is their Unify structure or Unify platform. And now what that platform is they're trying to make a DeFi platform that's really easily accessible for people, right? So if you don't know what DeFi is, it's decentralized finance, and it's a new kind of form of, you know, getting interest on your investments through staking, swapping with pairs and things like that. And of course, there's going to be newer ETFs and stuff. So essentially, the way I think of it, you know how your bank offers you products like, here's your TFSA, or if you invest in this little ETF, you get this much percent over a year on average, is what they say. Or they'll say, get this GIC and then lock it in, and then there's a certain amount of percentage. Well, what DeFi is essentially doing that in crypto, where say you buy this protocol and you stake this coin, it'll yield you this percentage of interest. Or if you stake this coin, it'll actually yield you reward in another coin. It gets really complex, but essentially Unify is the platform that's going to make that easy for you. It's going to be on an app where you could literally go, oh sweet, I could go buy this coin and then stake it and then have it there on my account, which is like unreal. Like the fact that we're going to be able to do that, and it's all going to be at the tip of our fingers, and it's going to be a lot easier, right? They're probably going to come out with a bunch of like user-friendly tutorials on how to do that shit, I imagine, right? So that's going to be really helpful. So this is huge Think about that. That's a huge untapped space of crypto that like really isn't that huge, like big yet. Like wait until that gets tapped into. Like big investors are gonna love that, and people like random retail investors are gonna like that as well, right? Think about it. Your GIC gets you what, 3%? What happens if there's like DeFi investments that can get you 8-9%? Like people are going to much rather use these investments. All right. So anyways, that's one of their platforms, Unify. Now we get into their other two acquisitions, which is Coinberry and BitBuy. These are a marketplace and an exchange, right? So BitBuy and Coinberry are essentially their know your customer fiat payment gateways to get into crypto. So you e-transfer your money to this marketplace or this exchange, and then you have your money, right? You're in your account. It's just like so for example, with my brokerage, Investor's Edge, I basically transfer money from my bank to my brokerage instantly like that. From this, it's going to be like you have like an e-transfer method or a fiat payment method to transfer it into your BitBuy account or your Coinberry account, and then you have access to buy all these different cryptocurrencies, a whole bunch of different coins, and it's going to be there. It's regulated, and they're expanding as well, right? So this is in Canada. This is they're the first. Have here the first regulated marketplace in Canada, which I noted that down because I think that's huge, right? A big thing that this company's trying to push across is that they're regulated, and that the fact that their products are legal. Like you could use this and it's all trackable, it's all taxable, it's all readily usable for the investor. You don't have to worry about this guy trying to, you know what I mean, worry about, oh, but I need to keep track of it, and because I've swapped it here or there, it's all on these three platforms. It's all going to be taken care of. Like I think that what they're trying to do is huge. So that's why I think it's really untapped, right? So these are the kind of the three different platforms altogether combined. Is they're addressing $500 billion in market value. That's what they're addressing right now in 2022, right? So 500 billion in 2022. Now think of that. That's baby numbers compared to what this could be in like 5, 10, 15 years. Like this could be the biggest space in 5, 10, 15 years, crypto, right? Think of it like that. Again, another few things that are huge about this company is their seed investors that they have. There's a few good ones, but the main two that I like to highlight are Kevin O'Leary and Sam Bankman-Fried. Like these are big guys in the crypto space, especially Sam Bankman-Fried, right? These are, some would say, like pioneers of the crypto space, and they're backing this company, right? So I imagine there's a bunch of things going on in the background that they're working on together. I wouldn't really want to bet against those guys. Those guys have insight and are like kind of carrying the way and in the industry, right? So think about all the things Kevin O'Leary's and Sam Bankman-Fried are doing behind the scenes when it comes to like legality and the talks that they're in, right? So I've seen a few videos of some of that information. It's really interesting. So I think that having them kind of as investors also kind of adds to the company value a lot, in my opinion. I'm just going to dive a little bit deeper into the BitBuy and Coinbase little acquisitions they have here, because I have a few notes that I thought were interesting. Coinberry has insane significant growth. You could by the way, all this information is on their investor deck in their investor deck. I'm going to post the link to their website, where you're going to find the investor deck, right? I'll post the link there, and yeah, you could find all this stuff I'm saying pretty much on there, and you could see the charts itself. But essentially, the year-over-year growth from Coinberry is insane in active users, volumes transacted, revenue, and assets under custody, right? So they're trying to grow, get more coins to buy, and also a lot more people are using it. And I find it huge. In Canada, I think it's great that they're Canadian, right? They're listed on the TSX. I find it amazing that Canadians have access to this stuff, and it's all legal, right? Like, I'm definitely going to be starting to use a lot of these brokerages like the BitBuy and the Coinberry instead of crypto.com and shit like that, right? It's just a lot easier, and It's Canadian, so it might be a little bit more friendly to use once I have everything here, right? It's all on one platform. I can get all my information, and then I could just literally print it off and then send it to my accountant whenever I need to keep track of my, you know what I mean, like my taxes and shit like that. But essentially, they're the first regulated marketplace in Canada. We know that they're the largest crypto marketplace in Canada, both of them combined. They became registered with the Ontario Securities Commission and the Canadian Securities Administrations. So man, they're all legaled up. They're legit, and it's kind of split, right? We mentioned they are decentralized and decentralized, right? So they have insurance to protect both your fiat and your cryptocurrencies, right? That's huge. So I don't know what it's going to be like with their like customer service and shit like that, but to know that they have insurance covering both sides of like both, like say, because there's going to be transfers of your fiat into your account, and then the cryptocurrencies you buy, to have insurance on that stuff is huge, right? Another big thing to note is that this is a company that survived this bear market. Think about all the companies that got flushed out, right? Like that's huge. These companies got completely destroyed because they were over leveraged, and this company survived. So they're going to be thriving, I think, in the next bull market when the tides turn. So now let's get into the chart, right? So here we are. We're looking at this company. This is the daily time frame since the IPO. This is August 21st or 31st, 2021, right? And now we're at today is the 6th of November, but it goes all the way to the last trading day, November 4th. Major price we've got up to is $3.04, and the lowest price we've been to is around 23.5 cents. So I think right now, think of it like this. They're addressing $500 billion in market value, and that's going to increase significantly. How much is that going to increase? We don't know. I don't know how much the crypto space is going to increase, but let's say that like that 500 billion turns into like a 1 trillion, at least. That's a double, right? So the highest it's been is 3. Let's say it could potentially get to $6. Again, some guys probably watching this thinking like, what the hell is he talking about? That makes no sense. It probably doesn't. But like the way I think of it is, this is just so undervalued. Like how there's like Coinbase valued at like 60 something, like other good crypto galaxies higher around $6. What Hive, those are around $2. This is at 26 cents. Like this is just like super untapped, I think. And they have plans to get onto the NASDAQ. And in order to be on the NASDAQ, you have to be above $3 for a significant period of time. So I don't know what's going to go on behind the scenes, but I do know that like, I just feel like there's no way this can be worth 30 cents or 26 cents. Major resistance in this area. I'm going to mark out a few horizontal lines here. Major zone right here. And I think right around this area, if we mark out this box, this is a zone as well, right? What's going on over here? Now, we're not exactly sure, right? We have to figure it out what's going on. But I'm going to pull up this real quick to get a better understanding of like kind of how I'm looking at this long term, right? This is super long term. I'm not really looking at this as, all right, we're going to get rich like next week. This is a long term idea. So we had a huge push, complacency, whatever, side downtrend, and now we're going to be sideways for a long period of time. That's how I think of it. In this period, right, is where we slowly curl into this, and then it'll start this bull trend again. When is that going to happen? We don't know, but that's why I'm keeping track, because I'll identify when the tides turn by watching on like a daily, weekly basis, right? So I started gathering around, I've traded this before around this area. Of course, as the bear market hit, I stopped trading it and just been patient. But now that I've done more research and I've got a better look at the chart itself and a better understanding, I'm starting to load up now to gather a long-term position. So then eventually, if we do make it up to these 3+ ranges, I'll have a bag that I could at least kind of sell off or on the way, get some sort of gain along the way, right? I just think that like it's super untapped being at this price, and like the fact that they have such big plans. I think that there's a big opportunity here, even if they say get back to the mean here, which is around $1.99. Like from here is like a 700% trade, right? So big opportunities here on Wonderfi Technologies, and I think that they're a very interesting company, and what they're trying to do in the space is huge. So it's kind of cool to have to own part of the company and be a part of it, right? So that's the thesis. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown there. I guess the last thing I could say is what we're looking for now is the accumulation volume kind of patterns to come in, right? So eventually we're going to see the tide change, the tide turn. We're uptrending, right? That's one sign. Big volume coming in. We need to see larger volume coming in and us reverse the trend. That, along with breaking above these resistance zones in time, like right over here, we break above this 45-cent range, break above the 60-cent range. Right here, major zone, major rejection, 85 cents. Once we can break up out of this and develop some sort of base around this area, then these levels are going to be a lot more realistic. So that's what we're on the lookout for. So that's the breakdown here on Wonderfi. Peace, guys.